Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more Great Ace Attorney. It is 2:41 p.m. of the same day as our the end of our first court trial. We gotta do more investigating. So let's go. Also, Susie's back.
Oh, this room. It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar.
Don't you get all r/male living spaces on me? Look, we're a simple people. We like things the way we like them. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you'd left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true.
So, is your father all right, Susie? What happened?
My father?
Yeah, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that.
Well, we're all delighted to have you back.
It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium.
The International Forensic... that's the same symposium Lord Stronghart mentioned.
Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris.
Gotta check something. Did I accidentally leave the volume too low? I did. I turned down the volume while I was streaming to my friends on Discord. Let me just... oh, there we go. You might have been like, why is it so quiet? And the answer is, it literally was. I'm not gonna adjust that. That's too much work for me.
Oh,
You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan.
yes, of course, I shall.
And there's one other thing.
Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma. I know. I'll tell you all that I can.
Yeah. Anyways, did you know I'm a lawyer?
You're still taking good care of that armband, I see. I'm so pleased.
Well, yeah, it feels like I wouldn't be me without it now, to be honest.
Oh dear, there seems to be a thread coming loose just there, look. I'd be only too happy to mend it for you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, thank you. Must have scraped it against something again. I'm always doing that.
Then take better care of it, please.
It was all going so well, till I ruined it. I doubt there's much to say about... Hey, what do you think about, Anthony? Mr. Sato, do you see this?
You have such great expectation in your eyes, Mr. Naruhodo, but I'm afraid nothing particularly useful comes to mind at all.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure what I was expecting, really. Oh, we should probably show the newspaper, though. About this paper, Mr. Sato.
Yes, it's all about the great exhibition. I've been dreaming about it, you know.
I was sorry that you were going to miss it when you were called back to Japan.
So was I. I felt desperately unlucky. But here I am, back in London while it's underway. It's a dream come true.
Perhaps you're not as unlucky as you thought, then.
Once we've helped Professor Harebrain out of this terrible situation, we should all explore it together. And of course, we must invite the Professor's good friend, Lord Van Zieks, as well.
Your luck might not stretch that far. Also, did you not see that he was attacked? I mean, we know he's well, but... Anyways, let's talk. Back in Britain.
When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely.
The awful trial? Oh, yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett.
Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing. I wish I'd seen it, don't you, Runo?
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe.
I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Sasato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikitobia summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. Oh, dog. Is it involved with the Hound of the Baskervilles? I only know the name of that. I don't know anything about it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time, but if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself, and I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie. That's a very meaningful look Sasato-san's giving Iris there. Anyways, Forensic Science Symposium. Lord Stronghart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku had been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikitoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency, Judge Seishiro... Ooh, that's tough to say for some reason. Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours, when you were accused of murder. Oh, yes, I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over the trial. I'm perfectly honest. I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, as Father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end, he agreed to me going on ahead. Yeah, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Stronghart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Stronghart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General, the most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently, it's Lord Stronghart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikitoba know Lord Stronghart personally then, I wonder? Actually, Lord Stronghart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't listen to much of it. How trying for you. Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett. You see me mutter her name, I guess. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. It always felt like a weird name. Didn't exist? But how could that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. What? Was she Japanese? And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. A front? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Miss Asian? Was she Japanese the whole time? Was she a secret Westaboo? We don't have her picture here. There's no way. What? Unless that's supposed to be like, unless her name is like Miss Assassin or something. Right? Maybe, but right now it's looking like Miss Asian, which I can't believe. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to? I'm afraid I don't really know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed. Well, all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. A Shin. Who on earth was she? Unless she's like Chinese, which could be, maybe. Why do I feel as though I've heard that name somewhere before? No? What? The name doesn't strike me as familiar. Is it just the fact that it means Asian? Anyways, Kazuma. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on, in that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know the guy never made it to Japan, to England, that he died on the steamship, and that he'll never. Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time, but later I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. What did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. Wait, is it not gonna be that he was not killed, but actually he's being brought back by the same science that brought Charlie Nash back to life? It just disappeared. What? Kazuma's body vanished! Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Mikitoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Dang, yeah, the Kazuma mystery. Looking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Burya were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Or the fact that he wrote it, yeah, well, it's fine. Could it be that he's actually still... Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. It's funny, I just finished editing a FGO event featuring Sherlock Holmes where he pretends to be dead by essentially sleeping on his arm enough that the pulse stops. So if someone were to check the pulse, it would seem like he had no pulse. It's scary because if you do it too long, you can go necrotic, but like that's still interesting. Also, my family knew someone who slept on their arm as a kid, and literally their arm, not as a kid, I think they were old and they got drunk, and they slept on their arm, and literally they woke up and it was dead. Their arm was dead, right? Like they just slept, put too much weight on it, and just completely cut off circulation, and the arm died in their sleep. So I think about that all the time. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo.
When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, but what if he's in on it?
And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
Yeah, but what if he's in on it?
You're right.
What if it goes all the way down?
So if Kazuma-sama hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. But there's no reason why he possibly would have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. He wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. As if it turned out not to be true. And I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Sasato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Sasato-san we're talking about after all. I probably shouldn't push it now.
Nah, he's still alive. I'm calling it. So, like... No. Nothing with that. I can't show people, right? No. Nope. Let's just see here. Unless we gotta look around a bit. Let's see here. Daruma?
I see your Daruma still only has one eye filled in. Well, we agreed that it's something we'd do together, didn't we?
We could do it right now if you like. I'd be happy with that.
I rather like the anticipation, I think, Mr. Naruhodo.
Desk. You see? I've been keeping my desk beautifully covered in papers as always.
You really must tidy it all up, Mr. Naruhodo. No more excuses. Mrs. Sato, the way I see it, all these papers building up on my desk like this, a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to leave them as they are so I never forget how lucky I am to have such varied experiences. In that case, you should definitely have a thorough tidy. Then you'll be able to see your papers building up all over again and feel that joy renewed.
Still can't beat her in an argument, even though I'm the lawyer here. No, just the way I missed it. There we go. Thinking back, that spade! It's been in here since we first moved in, hasn't it?
I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging.
That's for scooping up loose material, it's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material, it's a shovel.
The great spade shovel war rages on. Anyways, she's right. That's a shovel. You're stupid.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to making you some tea again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Which you'd think I wouldn't like, given that I'm not keen on bitter flavors, but it is Sasato-san's tea. And it's amazing what little cake or something on the side can do.
I would dearly love to serve you some sort of Japanese sweet alongside your matcha green tea. But I suppose that's simply not possible given how long we've been staying here in London.
Well, I do like the little chocolates you put in with the tea. They go wonderfully.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you would, wouldn't you? That gives me a warm glow inside for some reason. You have water gently boiling on the stove, I see.
It feels wrong somehow if I can't hear the water bubbling away. And we have plenty of logs. It's not like we have to worry about paying for gas.
It's important to open the window for fresh air when the fire is burning, though. You can't keep it closed just because it's cold outside. It could be a matter of life and death.
Avoiding the freezing winter air is a matter of life and death too, if you ask me.
Oh well. Perhaps a nice cup of tea will warm you up later.
Oh, hi! Didn't see you there. I left your desk completely untouched, Mrs. Sato, so be ready for you whenever you returned.
It's beautifully clean. There isn't a speck of dust on it anywhere. You've been cleaning in my absence, Mr. Naruhodo. Whatever next?
Well, I couldn't allow my great assistant's desk to sit there gathering dust, could I?
It really is exactly as it was when I left. I'm so touched. But sadly, your desk is also exactly as it was too.
Well, that's how it should be after all.
Oh dear. I'd forgotten how that clean-cut smile could be so disarming.
Okay, so I figured it out. All the sea creatures were named after them.
I'm so pleased to see all our sea creatures doing so well in the aquarium.
Yeah, the prawns are still swimming and the anemones are still swaying. Obviously, I've been looking after them carefully. At first, I used to drool whenever I looked at those juicy prawns, but not anymore. They're like a part of the family now.
I don't suppose they'll ever know how close they were to meeting their maker.
I mean, you're not going to get prawn tempura here otherwise. Your room through there should be exactly as you left it. I've still never been inside. I've never been invited.
Of course not. Only Iris is allowed in my room.
No doubt I'll be hearing you two giggling away in there again then. Women, am I right?
It must be about a year now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking of. Then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it. Oh, there was a mission before called The Hound of the Baskervilles, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, no, that was in this game already. And put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it. Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I?
I think it's time. Oh, well, here we go.
I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
Oh. Are we going in?
It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles.
What?
My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time, but Father came in and...
Chisato, what are you doing?
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. You understand?
But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes's exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie.
I have no clue how this works out. I might have some mysteries seemingly solved, but others, maybe not so much.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So you're awfully abreast of the situation already, Mrs. Sato. I'd expect nothing else, to be honest.
I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him. Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police or a great detective.
Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
I don't think she's going for herbs. I feel like she might be looking into investigating what we just told her herself. That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. By the way, someone asked, is it herb or herb? And the answer is apparently regional. I say herb because I just think it sounds better. New location added. So we got Shome's Suite. Just as was when left it. Lord Chief Justice's office. Why are you saying to go there? Don't believe we have any business. So literally we can't go there. Madame Two Spells. Okay. Well, let's just go in order here. See here? I'm not going to click on everything in this room again. I don't do it every time. He's not even here. Okay. I guess we're here for some reason. Oh! Who is this person who looks like a secretary bird? Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Stronghart?
I wonder. I've never seen her before.
Dang, Mommy? The young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government in disarray as a result. Oh! You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrambling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I, didn't mean to cause any harm or trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. Oh my god. Finally, someone logical who doesn't just immediately blame the lawyers for doing their job of finding the truth. A special dispensation that prevents investigation of the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. Scrap metal now, is it?
Until later then, Lord Stronghart.
She has the Rod of Asclepius. So is she like medical? And that's symbol on her brooch. Is she a prosecutor? Yes, thank you. You look like a final boss. What's going on? Who is that? That was Dr. Courtney Scythe. A scythe, you say? Or Sith? Oh no. Is it like Bavon? Is it Courtney she? Is she, listen, I do a lot of accents. I am not touching Gaelic, okay? There's no way in hell I can do that. Okay, but the fact that her name looks like Scythe, come on. Right? Come on. We'll see. Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner, and, well, related to death, right? She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. But Mr. Asman, following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensics laboratory. Oh, that sounds like a place we should go visit. Oh, right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. It's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Do we have stuff to talk to about? I guess we do. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. Wow, you don't sound evil at all, buddy. Holy crap.
What do you mean?
For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burned in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known. To protect our honor and our future.
Look at those eyes. He means every word.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikitoba.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Stronghart? With Professor Mikitoba, I mean.
It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikitoba very well. Okay. My memory serves, it was some 15 years ago that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born. So yes, 16 years ago now, in fact.
Mikitoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctilious. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikitoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals, St. Sinner's, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. Do we have her in our thing now? 39! Damn! Nice. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikitoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years. He left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh.
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
What do you mean? Why?
Well, clearly something was going on at the time.
Anyways, let's talk about Lord Van Zieks. I want to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago. by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Clint Van Zieks, was murdered, it was just after young Barrock had graduated from the University of London and became a prosecutor, when obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barrock Van Zieks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word.
So Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper. It's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh, yeah, Lord Stronghart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Oh, were we supposed to go there first? Whoops. Are you well versed in science, then? Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dispensation legally preventing the investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you! Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you were so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand. Dang. Alright. Well, new location added. I kind of want to go there first. Yeah, let's go to the lab. I want to see the mommy. Forensic Science Laboratory in the basement of St. Sinners, where Chief Coroner Scythe conducts her work. Oh, goodness gracious. There's a glowing-eyed bird, an owl, a skull in a jar, blood on the table, okay, and a skeleton in a glass vase. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose. There's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too.
It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so you may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think?
What a seasoned tourist you've become, Miss Sasato. We could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Okay. Bird.
That looks like an owl and a crow up there.
I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here.
Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oof, I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open.
Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Dharma doll on display in the office instead.
Well, look at this! What a magnificent display case! The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really are very skilled, aren't they?
You have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo.
Miss Sasato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope!
I'll be sure to remember that from now on.
Look at all the bottles on the shelves in the cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals.
These ones here are labeled highly toxic.
Ugh, that's worrying, because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there.
Oh, yes. And they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. Speaking of, those large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liqueurs or something. Or like the pickled umeboshi plums we make back home. Father had jars like this in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in a preserving solution, probably as examples of some rare medical condition.
Mr. Sato, there's some things in the world that perfectly fine to never know about, ever.
Oh,
So as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or umeboshi, aren't they?
of course. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it looks quite innocent.
So why is that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing?
It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air?
You'd either have to be have a cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. What about this? Nope. Looking at everything but the middle of the room, basically. Okay, well.
I suppose this is Dr. Scythe's desk.
I would not like to work in a place like this.
It's very tidy, though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Imagine how efficiently she must work.
The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can't be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves.
Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose.
I can just about cope with I can just cope about. I can just about cope with a one-eyed Dharma doll watching over me, but that's all. I think that's it. Yeah, you weren't joking about coming back later. Okay. Well, let's go to prison. Oh no, he's Gerald Robotniking. Oh, buddy. Oh no. If I see the words Eclipse Cannon on the wall, this is not good. What's he doing?
Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations.
And he's still writing more now. Professor! Hey, sorry to interrupt.
Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, and, who's this, young lady? My name is Sasato Mikitoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on in your cell?
Oh, you mean that? Dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had on to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. It's a good title. It's a real good title. It's a real good title. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took out for the kinesis machine, you see. It's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1. An odd birth, an odd upbringing. Can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled! I was fiddled! By the pair of them. By Asman! And by that aloof engineer, Drebber. We're not gonna have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Okay, buddy. Let's talk a bit. This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman's Canisius machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Barak did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barak wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Okay, and why is that? After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barak, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barak insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have had some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? Asman? Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? Sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes? When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused, he was so emphatic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic, it probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't some small trick. Very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about the burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Is it a pun on, like, Dremel tool, maybe? Is he an engineer? Or a magician? Or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Mr. Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine, but at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us to his whereabouts?
I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine, nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Jebba's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine. That would have helped. From the start. Why did you mention this before? Mr. Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Yeah, tell us where that is, please. So you've been to Drebber's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? If you're there once, it's a very good chance we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers from across the world should get their secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Mrs. Sato? Ode a machine for your next birthday? I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know I don't suppose you even... Why am I can't rot? I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example. The man was clearly very cautious, Mrs. Sato. Sure he would never... Aha! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. Shut up. What?
Let me see that.
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No. Oh, well, can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Can we put it in the analysis machine? Only shows the man's name, there's no address. Unless it's on the back and we're just stupid. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Yeah, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me for a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry, I expect that's because there's just such a tiny amount on there. There's a smear of machine oil on the reverse. Okay, Nothing on the front. It's handwritten, which is crazy. Okay, well. You have anything to say about some of the stuff here, like this? Professor Harebrain, what do you make of this? Ah, yes, that's what I need to put in my hypothesis. No, it's nothing to do with your hypothesis, actually. Then take it away. I don't want to be bothered with it. It doesn't assist my science. Sorry, keep your abundant hair on. Okay, let's just see here. Anything for these? Nope. Okay. What about this? Nope. Do you have anything to say about anything? Okay. How could this have happened? You must feel awful. As well as a man losing his life, the Crystal Tower is greatly damaged too. I know what happened. It must have been that. That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. When I paid the bill, they gave me 3 shillings too much in change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoings. That's what this is. For scientists, he has some very illogical anecdotes. Long and illogical. Report? Nope. What about your little guy, Anthony? Professor, do you recognize this? Oh, Andrew, sorry. Not Anthony, it's Andrew. Oh, it's Andrew. Oh, my faithful friend. Have you been? Are you alright? Nobody's mistreated you, have they? Don't worry, he's been very well looked after. I always rub him with machine oil until he's gleaming. Right. And then, when I come to tighten a screw with him, he slips in my hands and I can't do it. It's that age-old problem faced by driver files the world over, isn't it? Files? Files. Files. That means... Oh no. The hole. No! It's in our pocket! I really wouldn't know. I'm afraid... Okay, I'm looking it up. Is this a real thing? I'm going to incognito. Driver file? Driver qualification? No, wait, fuck. That's a wrong thing. No, I need the actual... I can honestly say there is only 2. The word driver file with quotation marks has only ever come up twice. One, a review for a sound system for someone's BMW 3 Series, and one for a 2005 Honda Civic consumer report by a guy named Florida named driver file. So we can safely say that this game invented that term. Great. Anyways, this? Nope. Okay. Card? Nope. You just gave this to us, so don't do that, please. Okay, well. My thought is, can we go back to Sholmes' suite? Can I use this? I finally managed to remember this behemoth's name! The Great Analytoscope! I don't think it was here when I left for Japan, was it? Oh, is that right? Yes, because it was with the pawnbroker. Oh, of course. Oh, that's given me a wonderful idea. I could pawn everything that's on your desk. The office would be tidy at last. Don't even joke about it, Mrs. Sato. You are joking, aren't you? Okay, no, I thought we'd use that for the thing there. Okay, well. In that case... we can go to the stage, or Madame Tuspel's. Let's go to Tuspel's for now, because I think this is where Sholmes should be. 23rd of October, Madame Tuspel's. Hey, the thing's gone. The arm. Oh my. No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like it to turn on my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere. That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Unless he's here. We got new things with these? Nothing particularly of note. Oh, what a horrifying scene! A murderer caught in the grisly act! I know, and in case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer. I don't think anybody would be in any doubt about that, surely? And did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back, it has no particular significance?
What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in a bathhouse, peddling criminal wares.
Ha! We have a new theory. They're so stupid. I love these idiots so much. Yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the house of horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you?
The sign says it's the Madame Tussauds special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside.
I know! Can you believe that? Pay more money, as if we haven't been scared enough already.
It's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo.
What about this? What about this fella here? Is his arm back? The old policeman isn't here now, obviously.
Still can't believe you just happen to be on the jury, though. I'd understood that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet you do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you?
It's a budget title now. Anyways.
This one's posture reveals his weakness. Sorry? The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off. With a Sasato takedown, then a Sasato squash, and then finally, a Sasato smash.
So command grab into OTG, followed into like a rebound launcher.
Right. And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Sasato slam should finish him.
Sasato slam?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's rather hard to explain. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate.
Absolutely not. Violence is not the answer. Except when it is. Let's move to the stage then. The main final one. Here we are. The great exhibition grounds, foot of the Crystal Tower. Oh, it's a little Paparino!
I had no idea there were so many people in the world.
I know what you mean. It's really packed here today.
It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point.
How does it? I shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest.
Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo.
There you are.
I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long.
Oh no, wrong voice. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you sounded different. See, you're hard at work as usual. Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since we last met. What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning. Not you, Sunshine. Gentlewoman, so loyally at your side.
Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice.
He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more. Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi, get over here, Gina! Too busy playing with the dog. She seems to be busy playing with the puppy. Probably giving it a traditional East End training.
Gina? She's a police officer now.
Yeah, I know, I was surprised too. Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. That's in the right place, anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep. I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really?
That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Not likely. But you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is. Oh my god, perish the thought. No parlez français. To France! I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture. We're right up my alley.
But France is an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there?
Why would you want to go there? That's the way the adult world works, sunshine. And I'm gonna poke your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'd become of her? Suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses.
I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper.
Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina. So don't go blabbing, you hear me? No, of course not. I've got to keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
Oi! Did you just call me a bloomin' diving diva again?
So you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put in my capable detective diva here.
All right, you're the boss. Inspector Lestrade's in charge here now.
Suppose I better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, got a new dog, have you?
Look at him! Isn't he great? Dobie's his name.
He's really freaking cute.
Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable.
Yes, the dog does seem lovely. But it's the not-so-lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. I swear to God, if he's in our, if he's in here, okay. I was like, is he gonna be added? Like, what are we doing? Hi. Do you know about this place? Gina, would you take a look at? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, I nicked it off you, not Nick. Wait, what? Oh, it changed automatically because we already got evidence there or something cool, right? This? Nope. Any of these? Nope. Okay, nope, nothing here. Got it, sounds good. So, well, actually, let's take a look now that we have, you here.
Oh, look, a flying balloon. I've never seen one in the flesh before. I can't understand how they can fly, and so high up as well. Oh, but think of the view, Mr. Naruhodo. You must be able to see for miles and miles.
I do think of it, and it terrifies me. I mean, it would be certain death if you fell out.
I'm sure they're perfectly safe. After all, they've been invented by some of the brightest minds in the world.
Let's not forget that we know at least one has exploded.
I'm sure there are other ways to fly. What a shame that the symbolic landmark of the Great Exhibition has been damaged like that.
Yeah, unfortunately. The birdcage crashed them in the most prominent position possible. It's the gods giving us a warning, if you ask me. Man must travel under his own stream and not cut corners with instantaneous kinesis.
But imagine what might have happened if the birdcage had landed in a slightly different location. The death toll could have been far worse. So I think perhaps it was a blessing in disguise.
Well, the gods are benevolent, obviously. I did say it was just a warning. Man must travel under his own stream, or next time, bird cages will rain down on all of you.
Your faith is much stronger than I realized.
Well, how do you think I passed the entrance exam for you at university? It wasn't by studying alone. You know, they say everyone's religious in times of emergency or entrance exams. That's really funny.
Ah, the Crystal Tower. I can't believe I'm seeing it at such close proximity with my own eyes.
You've really been looking forward to the Great Exhibition, haven't you, Miss Sasato?
Oh, yes. When I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck.
But here you are,
back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower. I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly.
What about the butt plug trees? Nothing on the butt plug trees.
Here's the scorching on the ground that you mentioned.
Yeah, what's left of that green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident.
Poor Professor Hairbrain. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this.
Well, someone's well and truly burst his bubble, as it were. Ouch. Okay, I'm a bad person. I don't even have to make jokes. The game is making the exact jokes I would make, which means I have good writing. Stage up there is where the experiment was set up. It's very high, isn't it?
About 30 feet, I believe, or 9 meters if you prefer. Craning your neck up to see it starts to hurt after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, we need to get up there and look around properly. Although, if I'm honest, climbing all those stairs makes my chest hurt.
Oh dear. I think perhaps you should exercise more, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry, people with jobs don't have time to exercise. Anyways, let's start off with this and then the other one, and then we'll go up to the top.
It was great, wasn't it? I had a right laugh. It was a new one. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and spending the whole time worrying about,
Well, this is so tough to do with you.
you know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying if I'm about to be found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and Odo's made things harder for every single time and all.
Just doing my job, Gina.
Oh, but watching someone else get in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix.
The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yeah, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though.
Oh, it's the boss I feel sorry for. Send off to do the impossible.
What do you mean?
He's supposed to arrest another cov, ain't he? And in time for the tomorrow and all. You know, that dodgy engineer. What's his name again?
Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber.
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
So, the police are looking for this mysterious man with a black monocle. I guess they would be.
That's putting too much on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him gut ache.
Oh dear, but I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food. Toby. Where did you find your little mutt then, Gina?
Oi, don't be so flaming rude, Odo.
Slight overreaction, don't you think?
I ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how do they put it? Oh yeah, a bona fide detective.
Okay. Sorry?
I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you.
More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he?
Oh, so he's a police dog, is he?
The police recruit dogs now?
I've heard one day they're even going to be bounty hunters. In Hawaii. I've heard that they've already been used officially in Germany as part of the city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell after all.
I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't. I mean my own?
That's nothing compared to this little fella, Odo.
Oh, really?
According to what the boss said.
Look at him being held out!
Once Toby gets a good whiff of your drawers,
we can show the dog the card.
I could chase that scent to the other side of the world.
What? To the other side of the world, you mean? He can swim?
Mr. Naruhodo, I think that you may have missed the point by a rather wide margin.
I just can't believe this little dog can swim!
I'm telling you, Odo, there's got to be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future.
Yes, I agree.
Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around.
What? Wait, hold. I don't know about that.
Oh dear, sorry Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway,
I think if someone came up to me and they said, "Do you think about in like 50 to 100 years, the dogs will be the ones telling us to do stuff? You know, we'll be the ones walking around on our hands and knees with a collar on, naked, while they're walking around upright in human clothing." I would probably say, "Don't talk to me."
well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby is Britain's first police dog. I found him down on the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out on the street.
There you go. I knew she'd lifted him from somewhere.
Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals.
Anyways, we have a way to get there now. Right? Engineer's whereabouts. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. Wonder if they've had any luck.
He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it.
Sorry, who?
You know, that scowling reaper what's always glugging down glasses of that blood-red plonk?
He doesn't drink it much, but okay.
Lord Van Zieks. He's always had in it for me, that cove. Then always scowling about mine. Probably would have been pretty good boss as it goes.
I'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee. The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both.
Oh, I suppose you're right. I ain't thought of it like that.
Well, you put that one to bed.
Anyway, your point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on finding the fishy engineer. But there aren't seeming any clues to go on, so they're stuck.
So nothing could lead us to Drebber at all? There is. I'm gonna have the dog sniff snoof. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like.
Oh, that's alright, is it?
I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here.
Ah, yes, Toby.
Borf!
The machine that exploded must have been at the top of those stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh. It's like I told Odo yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near the wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The Special
Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, that's the one. That's why only them not allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic or something?
The Forensic Investigation Team? Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted?
Oh, I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission for some bigwig, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something?
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Stronghart, perhaps.
Oh, that's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something.
Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Stronghart.
You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go see him, I waited for 3 hours at the Cov's office and came back sniveling.
Tragic. Well, Lord Stronghart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly.
Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying this is all above board, are you?
I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic.
Alright then, them's the stairs, off you go.
Oh, thank you, Gina. First off, please have your dog sniff a snoof. About this, Gina.
Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment.
Oh. I thought we joked about this. Oh, no.
I only know A to E. So if I don't, if it ain't too much bleeding trouble. Actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is a very high-quality French machine oil. It's very particular scent, apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiffin'. Are you sure? I don't smell nothing.
No, we did mean you should smell it.
All right. You mean Toby? Come here, you little blighter.
Woof. Sense it smells so good he can track people over oceans, can he?
Professor Harebrained informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop.
I love the fact she holds him like a gun. That is a gun dog. Anyways, he's just up there like... And then, you know, he does the little dog like... Right where he sneezes. And then a little bit more. I think he's picked up a scent.
That's what you mean if he follows the scent of this oil. Toby could lead us to that dodgy cove's workshop.
That's right. It's exactly what we were hoping.
All right, then. We'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that.
What? Wait, when did you... Oh, once a pickpocket.
If I can lead everyone to that Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week.
Oh, yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson.
Right then, Otto. Leave it to me.
Sorry?
We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty all the time.
I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina.
Right. Oh, well, never mind. That ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. He'll be the boss.
Poor Gregson again.
Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, have ya? Got that oil scent, have ya? Come on then, boy. See you later.
I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to find that Spindler's workshop. Yeah, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Because the next closest one is France. You know, it's kind of fun. These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out. I don't see anything else new up here. Okay.
Oh my. So this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place.
Yeah, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. A little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrained went to in order to obtain this research grant.
No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing, though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
Well, it is brown and gaudy and possibly made with materials stolen from other countries, so, yeah. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. I don't know about that part, but...
Oh, look, is that...
Oh, hey! Lord Van Zieks? So, I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Miss Sasato?
Already?
He is the Reaper. Remember? We do, well, keep our distance, I think.
We have permission to be here from the top.
We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything. From the top? Do you mean Lord Stronghart?
Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this record for as long as we like.
We could have been at the center of the explosion. It wouldn't have bent her steel will. Do we have to talk to him? We don't. Let's just look around first. Please.
What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast.
what they call the bird cage was right in the middle of it all, just here.
But look, Mr. Naruhodo, the metal grill on the floor. Looks as though it's designed to open.
It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have been dropped through and disappeared from sight.
I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing?
That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it.
It makes you think, doesn't it? If only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened.
That's almost exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict what you're going to say next in that case. You're about to say, nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you?
Oh, no, I would never say something like that.
Okay. Bro tried to Joseph Joestar and he kind of failed. However much I look at them, I just can't come to terms with those Tamari handballs floating in the sky.
You've been glaring at them constantly since we came up here.
Sorry, the feelings of wanting to ride in one and wanting to never set foot in one are fighting it out inside me.
But if you don't look where you're walking, you might fall from the stage.
I don't think I'd notice. That's how fiercely the battle inside me is raging.
I think you should make peace with riding in one, Mr. Naruhodo. It really would be much safer that way.
You guys are so stupid, I love them. Anything else here? This thing? This wasn't here yesterday. Oh? Was it not?
Really, but if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
That's right, the bird cage. What Professor Hairbrain said in court, it's made of wood.
Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed.
What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. Suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work.
But sadly, not with the body inside it.
No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still, it's too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Birdcage added to the evidence thing. We should look at that, yeah. Some stuff on the bottom there. Did it fall down? And then, Look here, Miss Sasato!
Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yeah, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. Fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Even the man inside tragically dead.
Okay. That's where it was. Cracked there. I don't think there's anything else. No. Doesn't seem like it. Nope. Okay. Well, we got that info.
I hear that a ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples.
I think the romance will be slightly spoiled by the abject terror, personally. But then again, I'm not a Londoner.
Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruhodo?
It's not that I'm scared. Not at all. It's just that staying on the ground seems so much safer.
Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Sholmes to accompany me on it in that case.
When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try.
Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it?
Let me take a look at... I think we can look at that place back there because he's in the way.
Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world.
It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation, and I've realized that British buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel.
Oh yes, I do agree with you there. I still can't help wondering what the onion does for the roof of the building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions. Guys, how do I refund the game? I don't connect with this main character at all anymore. You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Mr. Naruhodo. How can you not like onions? The ultimate flavor. I'm gonna try and get through like nope. Least approachable man in the world winner. 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistants stand firm behind you. Lord Van Zieks? Hi. What? Well. Beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. The thing is, Lord Chief Justice Stronghart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed... and yet you've managed to disturb me. Never mind. State your business, then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zieks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this. Oh, but does it? Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. Your brother. Who's your brother? So Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zieks. You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zieks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it then? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Ugh, you're too kind. You're gonna tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in that historical incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there, for public scorn. Of course the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have been exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. A particular waxwork, which... Wait, you mean... Yes, it's the professor. Is this the professor? Is this Moriarty? He looks like him. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I bet you it's him. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet. Huh. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We've been very keen to see him found as well. Trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to the professor, Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle.
So... Oh, sorry. So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but,
We'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us.
Wow, Sasato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Fine. Why not? Oh, I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. Dang, alright. Though it appears he already had the black monocle at the time. Okay. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? What is it about Lord Van Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Photograph added. Wears a monocle with black glass. Okay. Another top hat gentleman. Hi! Mysterious stranger who may be Cosma? The file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Oh my god, she knows. Are you alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zieks' apprentice, apparently. I'm not the only one. Sasato-san can see it too. Oh my god, okay, at least it's not. At least the game's accelerating the theory.
Lord Van Zieks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment?
With him. Why?
Kazuma-sama!
Kazuma? I don't believe it.
Your posture, your presence. It can only be... It's you! Isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
We're speaking Japanese right now. I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Cosma?
Wait!
Too late. What's going on here? Hey, can you tell us about this guy? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something.
Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Stronghart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. Oh, of course! He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia.
Tomorrow, he will appear in court at my side. Oh my god. Wait, is this the first time the prosecutor gets a partner? What? Yeah, me too. He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us. Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh, yeah, thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Sasato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zieks' office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. We need to speak to him about that. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we can do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mr. Sato. Of course. Well, I have no idea how much longer this investigation is going to go. So I'm going to call it here. There's a chance I'm going to save here and it'll just like immediately be pretty much resolved. I don't think it is. I think we got another good half of it left, or at least a third. So we might do a little bit and then hop into the thing, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you all for watching, guys. We'll see you next time for some more Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Ciao.
Yo.